Flashbacks to Billy Beane begging the owner for money, and he's like, no, we don't have any. No.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Nicholas Blaylock.
And I'm your host, Adam Peddle. And today, guys, you requested it. The world requested it. Nelson Cruz, is he going to the Blue Jays or Oakland Athletics? We're going to talk about it. Before we get into it, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. This video is brought to you by Monkey Knife Fight and Manscaped. Today, Jays is the code. You can use our code to get deals and discounts throughout this video. And as well, thank you for all of our Patreons for becoming Patrons. It's only $3 a month, and you can come onto our show so you can join them. And yeah, thank you guys. Yay!
Nice.
All right. Nelson Cruz to the Blue Jays or Oakland. Let's look at first at how Nelson Cruz is doing this year, as he's just turned 41 11 days ago.
I would love to, buddy. You know what? I made a little bit of a joke on our past live, and I said, if you want to get sexually stimulated, go take a look at Nelson Cruz's Baseball Savant page. But you know what? It's actually not that much of a joke. It is phenomenal, guys. This guy is age 41. He's got a slash of .304 batting average, a .381 on base, and a .549 slugging. That's good for a .930 OPS.
Yeah.
18 home runs, 46 RBIs, 41 runs. This is an offensive juggernaut at literally age 41.
Yeah, and like I saw one comment on our YouTube channel today that was like, I don't want Cruz, he's old. And you know, if you're that person, I'm talking to you too. He's 41 years old. Yes, he's old. But don't you want a good player? This guy's amazing. He will help any team just add extra pop and average and on base to any lineup. So if you have a spot in your DH spot, then he's definitely a fit for you.
Yep.
Talking about the Blue Jays and talking about Oakland, we do have some spots in the DH spot on these teams. I believe you had a stat about our DH spots.
Well, yeah, I was looking at Oakland and I was looking at the Blue Jays. So let's run through Oakland and then we'll get to our Jays after that. So Oakland right now, they're doing pretty good, 52 and 40. They're not quite in first in their division, but they're definitely secured into a wild card spot right now. Now, the offensive team numbers, this is their slash. They have a .232 batting average, a .312 on base, a .405 slugging, and a .717 OPS. That's good for 14th in the league. The DH spot, so this is specifically what they've got out of their DH up until this point in the season, looking at all of the players, .220 batting average, .289 on base, and a .381 slugging. So significantly worse than their entire team. So I think that the Oakland Athletics makes a lot of sense to target a guy like Nelson Cruz, who is a veteran presence. You can slot into your DH spot. And also, because he is only specifically DH, and because Boston's got a JD Martinez, and the NL isn't really even in this conversation at all, you're only looking at AL teams, I believe that his value isn't going to be as high because he's not going to have as many potential suitors, potentially perfect for an Oakland Athletics sort of team to target.
Right. It would be interesting because the Oakland Athletics in the past aren't usually big trade deadline buyers at all by any means. Right now, Nelson Cruz has a 1-year, $13 million contract. And their highest contract right now, believe it or not, is Elvis Andrus, $8.6 million.
Yes.
And that's crazy. They have a total payroll salary of $86.2 million. So adding Nelson Cruz, that's a lot for a team like Oakland who does not pay their players. That's the thing. So that is one thing I'd be worried about. I don't know if it's manageable. I was looking through trying to find out how much extra room they have in their money, but they don't ever publish that because they don't talk about how much money they could actually pay.
Now, the thing that I was looking at was like they are like very low as far as other teams, like their average, like what they have, 86, that's not a lot. However, you're right, like how much money does the management actually have and how much of it are they willing to spend? This is information that we don't know. So he would be a little bit more expensive. However, speaking from a team standpoint, when you're 14th in OPS, you're 11th in ERA, you're still looking very good, and you have a position of need at that DH role, Nelson Cruz could be the best guy to go and target.
And if you can beg your owner for $13 million, then you can get it.
Totally.
flashbacks to Billy Beane begging the manager, the owner, for money, and he's like, "No, we don't have any.
No money to be
we have nothing."
Mr. Brad Pitt.
But the next team, and our team, is the Toronto Blue Jays.
We got money, baby.
And we got lots of money, and it's very vocal that we have lots of money to spend. So Nelson Cruz, what have we done in the DH spot that would be advocating for him to be playing in that role?
We've done a little bit better, actually. Now, we've had a 240 batting average, a 321 on base, and a 429 slugging. So better than the Athletics. Still not nearly as good as our team batting standards, because we are literally second best in the league offensively. And that's potentially one of those arguments for why we don't need Nelson Cruz.
Right.
However, he would be a clear upgrade as to who we currently have cycling through. Randall Grichuk was somebody that I was looking at, and ever since June, he has really dropped off, man. Like, his overall season numbers still look decent.
Yes.
But, like, the strikeouts through the roof, the swing and the miss through the roof.
It feels like ever since George Springer came back and took over that role, and there was now a fight over that DH spot, it feels like he's kind of pressing a little bit.
Totally.
And I, as we were before in the season, you guys can, for those fans of the show, you guys know that we were loving Randall Grichuk, but now Randall Grichuk is showing old Randall Grichuk ways, and I'm okay. I'm okay with a trade for Randall Grichuk. If we need to move him or he needs to go somewhere, to put in someone like Nelson Cruz and solidify that Gurriel, Springer, and Hernandez all-star outfield.
Exactly. I mean, like, I'm almost okay with trading anybody for a guy like Nelson Cruz with a 930 OPS. So obviously going to be an upgrade if that was the thing. Now, Cruz has a trade value of 4.5.
Right.
That's not that much.
That's not a lot at all.
That's not that much for an elite bat.
Yeah.
Like somebody who realistically should be a starter on an all-star team, but because Shohei Ohtani is Shohei Ohtani, it's like
MVP.
Exactly. He isn't right now, but this guy would be a major impact, and want to talk about a veteran presence that he could bring not only to the Jays but also to the Athletics as well. Like, this would be huge for some of these young guys, like a Vladdy looking at a Nelson Cruz,
and he's a Spanish-speaking player, right? So you go and you associate around those other Spanish-speaking players. That could be a really big influence, especially. No, and I love it. It's just, for me, it would only take one thing, because he is so cheap on trade values. I would have to get him cheap because, again, we don't need him. I'm totally cool if you want to add a Nelson Cruz to the Toronto Blue Jays lineup. That would just be unreal. But it's got to be cheap, and we have to make sure we also make other moves for pitching.
Exactly.
Like maybe Jose Barrios.
Yes.
That would be the case.
Totally, I agree, man, because you're right. This is like a cherry on top. This is not the meat and potatoes of what's going to take us to the postseason. Having this guy in the postseason would be awesome, but we have to get those other pieces as well. And this guy should be that, like, sprinkle that we're looking at right at the end. That nice little addition, and I would love to have him if that's the case. So with all that being said, I mean, the two main teams right now are the Athletics and the Jays. I have my concerns with both of them. I think that he is a better fit on the Athletics team standpoint, but the money is kind of where I'm not sure anymore.
Right.
And I think that we could definitely make it happen on the Blue Jays, but I also think that we have our own other concerns that take precedent over Cruz. So who do you kind of have winning this battle right here?
Honestly, I do, just for me, like, if it were to be one of these two that gets Nelson Cruz, I think it might be us, because there are some pitchers on the Minnesota Twins lineup, not just Jose Barrios too, but Rogers as well. There's other pitchers, so there might be a little bit of a deal that they want to squeeze out of there. And again, you know, Shapiro has been so aggressive, and I can see him doing something like this just to add a little bit of push to say that we are winning this year, and this solidifies it. So that's where my money is. How about you?
And that does make a lot of sense to me, man, because I could see the Twins as well being like, hey, we're not going to give you a Rogers unless you take a Nelson Cruz, and now you need to give us that better prospect. You know, and in that case, okay, well, we're getting this elite bat and we're getting this other pitcher. I might be more interested in doing that.
Whereas I can see Oakland being like, hey, we'll take Nelson Cruz. We also want to pay like half his salary, maybe. You know?
See, that is the thing. Now, that's the other thing, though. If Oakland was to go out and do this, and this is how I think they might be able to do it, they could add a little bit more prospect capital, because this is a bigger need for them. And adding that more prospect capital, say, hey, we're going to give you like a trade value of 6 or 7, but you got to take some of his salary away. And maybe the Minnesota Twins would be interested in that.
That's true. All right. Guys, what do you think about Nelson Cruz to the Jays? Never thought I'd be saying those words, or Oakland Athletics for that matter. Let us know in the comments down below. Who do you think he's going to go to? Or maybe he's going to go to another team that we didn't even mention. So let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah, guys. You can also check us out on Spotify, Breaker, Anchor, Radio Public, and Google Podcasts. Also, if you're new, please like and subscribe and comment down below. Today, Jays is the code for Monkey Knife Fight and for Manscaped. And $3 a month, you can become a Patreon. You can call into this show. I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to all of our current Patreons that we have right now.
Hey, guys.
It helps us out immensely, like you will never know.
And guys, thank you so much for watching.
And go, Jays, go!